Loading. Hello and welcome to another VanHack webinar. Hi everyone, I'm Ilya and I'm really excited to be joined by Lisa and Raphael who are in Vancouver today. So hi guys. Before we get started, as always, let's do a quick sound check. So can you guys hear us? Can you see us? Are we live? Is it working? Yeah, so can you see and hear us, everyone? Just want to make sure that everything is working on the tech side before we get into the content. Sweet, awesome. Thanks, Louise. Thanks, Flavia. Thanks, guys. Hey, there's another Ilya here. That's really cool. Hey, Ilya. You must be staying up really late. I'm guessing you're in either Russia or Ukraine, and it's like 3 in the morning there. So great to have you here, as well as everyone else. And most of all, Lisa and Raphael, thank you guys so much for spending your time here with us and sharing all about the Canadian tech market. So if quickly, I'll just introduce you guys from a high level. So Raphael and Lisa are two members of the Red Academy team, which is, in my opinion, Canada's best technology school. And they have a lot of combined experience in both helping international students and talent get jobs and immigrate to Canada on Raphael's side. And Lisa has a ton of experience in the digital marketing and tech space in Canada. A little bit about how Red can help you out in Canada as well. So without further ado, welcome Raphael and Lisa. Maybe you guys can quick out on yourself and most of Red, and then we can jump in to how people can get hired in Canada.
Do you want to get started?
Yeah. So hi everyone. I'm Lisa. I lead the digital marketing course at Red Academy here in Vancouver. Raph.
I'm Raphael, originally from Brazil. I lead the international market expansion here at Red Academy.
Yeah, so just like a bit of background about Red, why we exist. So there's a big gap in Canada around technical skills being taught in universities. I don't think it's just in Canada, it's around the world. So really the reason Red exists is to fill that skills gap. So it's a technology school that focuses on digital marketing, UX and UI design, as well as web development and app development. And so we're teaching these skills because this is what the market needs, and there's a huge gap here in Canada. So that's really why Red exists, is to fill that gap and to get people into jobs as soon as we can.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, there's this gap. I think the number is 180,000 by 2019 or something like this, open tech jobs. Yeah, I heard yesterday that the United States is going to have 900,000 open tech jobs in the next 10 years. So yeah, you're right. It's a problem that exists globally, and definitely is something that we're all excited about solving and helping all the great talent that's on the webinar with us move to Canada and to get started there. So quickly before we get into the content, let's maybe talk about how Red can help specifically. You guys are launching something really exciting with a new course in September. Let's quickly touch on that and we'll come back to it at the end. But I think everyone should know what's going on with that.
You just cut off a little bit, maybe. We didn't hear the last part.
Oh, maybe talk about the program in September, please.
Oh, okay. So in September, it's more like October actually, but we're going to be launching work study programs that are the main idea is to give an opportunity for international students to join the Red Academy's programs and being able to come to school during the evening. So students will have during the day free to look for jobs and use their 20 hours per week to work while they're studying. And we added a work experience component to it, which is going to be the co-op portion. So the programs will be 24 weeks long for the academic portion and another 24 weeks long for the co-op portion.
Very cool, very cool. So it seems like just for everyone, this whole working while you're studying is really unique in the market. So that's great. Cool. So let's go into the content. So if someone wants to move to Canada and maybe they have a little bit of experience in tech, what are a couple things that they can do to really market themselves, maybe before they even arrive? What would you guys suggest?
Yeah. So for us here, like specifically in Vancouver, and I would say Canada-wide as well, we really encourage people to utilize LinkedIn. That's a big platform or social platform that employers are looking at. So, when you're looking to get hired in this kind of tech field, it's probably the first thing that they're going to look at is your LinkedIn profile and kind of your portfolio, your experience, and anything you can showcase, really. So whether, it's any design projects you've worked on or any campaigns you've run, or, if you're working in dev, anything that you can show around that, like LinkedIn's a great place to go and to showcase that as well. In addition to that, we're seeing a lot of people being able to stand out with personal branded websites. Doesn't necessarily have to be a full built out website, but could even be a landing page to really showcase who you are, get people to know, big thing here, especially in the tech field, is do you have the skills and are you a fit for the business? So being able to kind of bridge that and showcase not just your skills, but also that, you've got the right fit for a business, whether it be through your LinkedIn profile, other social profiles, or a personal branded website. Those are some great ways to get started.
Yeah, so LinkedIn, personal website are two really important things. I think many people overlook them, especially the personal website. I think that's something that might take a little bit more effort, and people don't really know where to start. So yeah, I agree. And if you guys haven't seen the courses that we have on VanHack about creating your personal website and resume and LinkedIn, check those out. We have a lot of content on YouTube, and I'm sure there's a lot of other content on YouTube you can check out or just online. So definitely start with that. And what about if you're, how could you approach a company and maybe show value to them, especially if you're not, if you don't have any Canadian experience? Have you seen something that kind of works to show, okay, maybe you're, looking for a job again without arriving, or maybe you've just arrived in Canada? What can you do to kind of set yourself apart, especially if you're coming from abroad?
Yeah, I think any networking opportunities that you can find, any local events that you can get kind of in front of the right people, like even before you're applying, there's tons of local events here where you can go and network with people in the industry. There are people who are always hiring here. Like there's such a need that, people are going to these events and looking to meet potential talent, whether it be local or foreign. I'd say in addition to that, going into any kind of job interview, we really prep our students to kind of go in with something. So if, for example, if you are going into a digital marketing interview, to be able to go to a company and say, here's something that I've built for you, right? Like going in with maybe a bit of a plan or an audit or something that you can showcase that you're not just any other applicant, but that you've put in the time to say, I'm really interested in your business. I have the skills to be able to analyze what you've done and what I'm seeing that's working. And if I were to come into this role, maybe these are the first couple of things that I would focus on. So you're adding that additional value from the start.
Awesome. I completely agree again. Networking, we have one of our values of VanHack is network to get work. So going to those events, I actually got my first, I think, 3 jobs in Vancouver through networking events when I came back home. So yeah, I think that's really cool. And I think events like this is virtual networking for people. So that's really cool. And maybe expand, like, what are maybe some examples you've seen of people before they've or like coming into the job interview prepared with something interesting? Like, have they created a PowerPoint presentation, or what specifically would that look like?
I've seen some really creative things. Like, I've seen people just pop up like a landing page for a business and just show like, this is like a campaign I'd run, and this is where I'd run all your traffic to, or to build like a little like microsite, or to come in with like a pitch of a new advertising campaign that they could run. I've also seen students go in and do like, so we teach things like in my course, the digital marketing course, like around search engine optimization. And a lot of that stuff you can audit without having, like, you don't need access to a lot of stuff. You can go and look at a website and be able to see like what the competition's doing, how they're currently ranking in Google, things like that. So to go in and say, this is where you're at, and these are the areas that I think you could improve, that's been really successful for some of our students going into interviews.
Cool. So actually seeing like, these are the keywords that you could be ranking for, but you're not. So you should write articles and create content around those. That's awesome. That's very specific.
Yeah, or like going in with like a competitor analysis and saying like, but being very specific, like, so say if you're going into a paid advertising role, saying, here are samples of what your competition's advertising right now, right? And being able to kind of say like, you're either not doing it and you should do it, or this is how you could do it better.
Cool. Very cool. I see a question here that a couple of people have asked. I think it might be relevant because this is for, like, those are great marketing tactics, but a couple, Dennis and Ilya have a question about showing portfolio. If you're mostly a backend dev, is it a good idea to put it on GitHub, like put your code on GitHub? Is that something you guys would recommend for software engineers that can't necessarily make an SEO campaign or something like that?
I mean, I'm no dev expert, but the way that all of our dev students showcase their work is mostly through GitHub. So yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I concur. And yeah, if you're a software engineer, you're not using GitHub, you're doing something wrong. So definitely, just even if you're not committing or like directly there, I would have some of your code on GitHub. Exactly, and Leandro, it is key for programmers. And yeah, it's very important. So yeah,
I was just going to say, like, when we were talking about LinkedIn earlier, like, you can link your GitHub into there on your personal site or your landing page. Like, make sure that you're showcasing your work.
Yeah, exactly. Show your skills. So yeah, have maybe kind of the way I would say is like, have your personal website kind of have everything, and then links to all the different profiles, and then kind of have maybe your GitHub be the technical stuff you have, and then LinkedIn similar to your personal website, but maybe like, yeah, not, you can't really have your blog there. Actually, that's a point maybe we can talk about is blogging. That's something that I think might be like an extra cherry on the cake. How you can really look for a job. Have you seen that to be effective at all? Or people kind of maybe talking about how they're looking for a job, or maybe like talking about writing a blog post about the specific subject matters that they're interested in, such as, you know, design, development, digital marketing, SEO, etc. Has that been something you've come across at all? Yeah,
and so in the course specifically here, that's actually the first thing that we get our students to do, our digital marketing students to do, is they'll build a personal branded website, and part of it is a blog. And the reason we get them to do that is so that they can start to write about topics around their skills and start ranking for those particular keywords, so that they can get found by people who don't even know who they are. But I also think, like, just blogging in general is a great way to be able to get found in any field, not just specific to digital marketing, whether it's dev or design. That really shows that you know your stuff, that you know, like, you know, you're a subject matter expert, or that you have experience in certain areas, that you can talk about it, and that the content's engaging. For an employer to be able to see that, it is super valuable.
I'm just trying to find a blog for one of the Van Hackers that I really liked. That's definitely something that I agree with. If they, for example, like if you're really into artificial intelligence, you have an artificial intelligence blog that proves, and you kind of talk about specific concepts, right? Like you get really deep into the details. I think that'll make someone want to interview you rather than just saying I like artificial intelligence or whatever that might be.
Yeah, it's another thing to add to your portfolio, right?
Well, if it helps to add to that, like actually blogging was one of the things that helped me get to where I am in Canada right now. I started blogging about education in Canada, and this is like it just helped me out building all my career here in Canada.
Cool. So you just post like how to do X, apply to a college, or how to get your WES exam, or something like content that helps people, and then that kind of built that's how it worked.
Yeah, and you also talk about subjects that you like, and you give your perspective about it, and you invite people for discussions and things like that. It also works, and you show your experience, you show things that you've done, and you talk about how difficult things were and how you overcome these difficulties and all that. So it's interesting for people like seeing that it's normal to have problems and issues, but seeing that there is a way that they can find how to overcome them, it's great as well.
Yeah, definitely. And we try to do the same thing with the Van Hack blog is kind of give people that motivation. And yeah, fantastic. I agree. And maybe this kind of transition to another question, which is language. Because some people maybe not fluent in English, and writing a blog might be very scary. How do you guys see like maybe things like an accent or not perfect English? How can people overcome those challenges when looking for a job?
Well, from someone that's got some accent, English is a second language. In Canada, at least, we have a lot of people that don't speak English as a first language, as a native language. So people are sort of used to the accent, and they don't judge you by your accent, but what the work you perform. And so don't worry too much about your accent, but try to show the best you can do. And that should overcome that difficulties in your language barriers.
Yeah, and I think also when you're speaking about blogging, like practicing writing in English, like that's another platform that you can do that on.
Yeah. If you look at it as just like free English lessons,
yeah.
Right?
I think Raf's point is, Canada's so multicultural, and there's so many so many different people from all over the world, and that's known here, right? And when you go into a workplace, you're working with people from all different countries and all different backgrounds. So it's not really a hindrance. Obviously, like for us here at Red, there's like a certain level of English that people have to have. And that's just to help them be successful while they're here. But we're used to it. We've had international students here. So it's not a hindrance. I think it's being open to practicing, right? Especially writing, speaking, being open to that even before you come here.
Definitely. Yeah, your English is always getting better, as we like to say. So yeah, that's so true. And I mean, exactly. We're a country of immigrants, the most diverse country in the world. I think, I don't know for sure, but pretty sure Toronto is the most diverse city. So I would be surprised if we weren't the most diverse country, and only getting more diverse. So there's definitely a big push for immigration to come to Canada. Maybe you can talk about how Red can help make that transition. So let's say someone, for example, a career changer, so someone who might be working, we had a question about like one type of degree maybe not being valid in Canada. Like how could Red help people who are looking to transition into tech, and also kind of, I guess, what really skills are really needed in the market? So kind of two-part question there.
I mean, the way that a lot of international students who we work with, obviously they come here and they don't have a lot of Canadian experience. So the great thing about our course, or the courses that we run here is that you're getting practical experience while you're with us. So you're working with real businesses. It depends which course you take, but in like, say, for example, a full-time course, you're working with most likely three businesses while you're with us in a 3-month period. So you're building out a portfolio of Canadian companies that you've worked with that you can then go to the market and say, hey, I've worked with these 3 or 4 companies. This is the work that I've done. You can get recommendations and referrals from them. So it's kind of opens up the opportunity to be able to have that experience. And then obviously now there's the additional work study component.
Yeah. So that will also leverage their way to the market. And one more thing that we do here is that we bring companies to the RAD Academy and introduce students to them. We have the student showcase. We have many opportunities for students to meet potential employers. And so the environment at RAD Academy plus the projects plus the work experience, it can get better than that. And in a year, in the duration of 1 year in Canada, like there's so much opportunity for a person that just arrived in Canada. This is how we think that we will help students to get to find a job in Canada.
Awesome. Super. Yeah, I think it's a very time and then 6 months of full-time work at what are the kind of companies that are kind of hot or maybe that Red is working with that people might maybe don't know about, but you're seeing that are hiring a lot in the tech space?
Do you have names? Like I know Wishpond, it's been hiring lots of our graduates.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of local, like Vancouver-based companies that are booming. Like we've got, Hootsuite that's based out of here, Slack, Wishpond. There's a lot of really cool tech companies that have started in Vancouver and have kind of blown up. So it's a really exciting place to be. A lot of companies have moved up to Vancouver, tech companies. So we kind of are in a good spot because we get to work with a lot of startups that are, in those first few, the first stages of really launching, and they come and they work with our students. So sometimes our students are getting to work on projects that are then getting, launched at a huge scale or, get bought out and become like a huge success story. So it's a really cool space to be in. The tech industry here, especially in Vancouver, it's just booming. So it's a really exciting place to be.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's why we started VanHack. And it's really a lot of stuff going on. You hear all the time, day by day, new funding rounds, new growth. There's a big conference coming out next week with Traction. Gonna have a lot of good tech people in town. If you guys, do some research online, you'll see that there's so much growth. Actually, Lucas actually asked here, why are companies hiring from abroad? And we alluded to this earlier, is there's just not enough good people for all the positions, right?
Yeah, there's just not, there's that skills gap, going back to that, right? So it's finding people who have those skills, and, there's the opportunity for internationals to come in and fill those spaces because there's just not enough Canadians to do it. Or not enough trained, I should say.
Exactly, not enough. Yeah, skilled workers, right? This is like pretty. It's not easy, right? To be a good tech professional. So there's not that many people. So I think, Lucas, that's why. Cool, awesome. So like, what do you kind of see maybe are some big challenges that people have when they're, or maybe mistakes, some mistakes / challenges that you guys have seen that are common that people do when they're either looking for a job abroad or they've just arrived to Canada, that might kind of hurt their chances and that people should avoid?
Sorry, you cut off a little bit. Can you repeat the question?
Of course, yeah. what are some mistakes or challenges that people make when looking for a job as a new arrival in Canada or before they arrive in Canada?
I would say the number one mistake people make is when they apply for jobs and they're not prepared for the job yet, or the lack of networking or lack of preparation for interview, and because a lot of people have a good resume and lots of experience, but when they get like to the point of getting into an interview and they're not prepared, that is a big mistake, because you just get yourself out of the competition right there, and you were so close to get it. So preparation, it's a big thing. Networking is important, and give time to find what you're looking for. Just because it's not going to happen on the second day you arrive in Canada, and a lot of people get that expectation that they think that their resume is so good and they have so much experience, and Canada has so many jobs out there that they're going to arrive here and find a job in the first week, and it's just not reality. Trust me, there are people that think they will get the job in the first week.
Yeah, so we have had van hackers get jobs in 5 days or before they arrive. So it does happen, but it's very rare, and mostly for senior software engineers, which is a very, very high in demand subject or skill. So yeah, I think because if you are a software engineer, we can help you get hired fast. But all seriousness, the vast majority, you're absolutely right, takes time. For example, for me, I got a job after a month and a half, and I'm Canadian, so working in sales and marketing. So it doesn't happen overnight, and it's a long process. So you have to be mentally ready for that. I think that's absolutely true. Very cool. I just want to quickly comment on something that someone said about the infinite loop of you need a work visa to get a job, or you need a job to get a work visa. This is a kind of a common thing we've seen. I think it was Emerson who asked that. So first off, sorry, Emerson, I didn't mean to ignore your question. We've got a lot of questions here, but that's a great question. And I'll just quickly say that there's a new visa coming out called the Global Skills Visa on June 12th, in less than 3 weeks. Very, very soon. 2 weeks from Monday. And it's going to basically allow companies to hire people in 1 month or business. So that's a really, really big change from the way it works now. So we're going to have a lot more information about this. But something that's going to be great about this is that you're no longer going to have to rely on having an open work permit after you finish studying. So it's more about having the right skills, the right connections into companies, and that's going to really help. So a couple of questions that we've had here about postgraduate work permit from RED. I believe it's not guaranteed, which is used to be a problem before, but now with the new visa, it really won't be, because you'll have that Canadian experience and connections to companies. So maybe we could talk about the connection between an employer and a student, and really make sure that. Did it cut out? Can you guys hear me? Okay, talk about the connection that you guys help to make sure that candidates have that co-op experience and really connect the two sides so that RED graduates get hired.
Okay, so there is a placement support here at RED. Basically what we do is we connect students with companies. We have the student showcase, we have the meet and hire events that happen at RED. We constantly reach out to companies to talk about our grads and to see if there is positions available, these kind of things, right? And we also prepare students to do networking, for interview, to prepare their portfolio, those kind of things. So there is a department in the school that prepares students to look for jobs currently what we do is we help Canadian students until they find a job. So we keep helping them constantly until they find it. We don't guarantee placements, but we do work with students until they find a job. That is one thing that we really do. And for international students, not going to be any different. The only thing that I think it's going to be a plus for international students is that the position that they're going to be looking at when they start the co-op portion is not a permanent position, which requires a lot less requirements, let's say, from the employer in this job position. So they're coming with the same training that our Canadian students have had, but they're going to a starting position, let's say, right? So I think it's going to be fairly easy to get the co-op placement. And again, going back to the visa that Ilya mentioned, the Global Talent Stream, if you're already working for a company, you're doing a good job, and it only takes two weeks to process a visa for you to stay permanently in that job. I don't see why a company wouldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. You're already there. Why would they want to lose you? So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
very cool.
The hiring process in Canada is very costly. So if a company can avoid to enter this process again and having someone that is already working for them and it's just needed to wait for 2 weeks to get a visa, yeah, it's no brainer. Right? The company will be saving like what, 20 grand maybe. It's a hiring process. If you consider like the time it consumes, how many people are involved in the process, their payments, everything. So it's a bunch of money.
Yeah, and I think also, just to reiterate that point of working with actual businesses while you're in the program. So you have that portfolio, and then you also have those businesses, as you referenced, and all of the instructors who work here. So all of the instructors who work at the school are professionals from the industry. So you have those references as well, which can really support you as an international.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's one of the big differences of RED and other schools is that industry experience that a lot of the faculty have. So that's fantastic. A couple question that we got a couple times here I want to address is age. What about age? Is that something that is considered? How does that affect the hiring process? And maybe if you have some examples where maybe some older professionals were able to get reskilled using RED, that might be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we have a variety of people of all different ages who come to school here. It's not really about the age, it's about like the skills, right? So if you're looking for a job that needs these particular skills and you gain them here and you produce really good quality work and you have really good references, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to get a job. So yeah, I mean, we range anywhere from, students who are maybe our youngest, early 20s, who go all the way up to, people in their 50s. There's a wide range, which is really cool because it brings in a lot of people with different backgrounds, different skill sets, and it makes the class a lot more interesting when you have people from all different backgrounds. So yeah, age just doesn't really come into consideration.
Cool. Yeah. Ronaldo asked, is there an age limit? Yeah. So I'm assuming that the answer is no. So definitely not.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of studying at RED, I wouldn't say there is a limit. What the students need to consider is that their profile when applying for visas. That is a different thing that it's not on us, and we're not the right person to answer those kind of questions. So to study at RED, there's no limit. What the person needs to consider is that, am I a good profile to apply for a study visa in Canada? This is what it should concern.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's quickly talk about the RED programs again, a little bit more detail, and then we can open up for questions from everyone who's online. By the way, guys, I'm loving the chat. You guys are asking some really, really good questions here. So and please, guys, don't be shy. We're here to help you, and we're all about answering whatever little question. I know changing your entire life and moving abroad is a big process, and there's many details. So we're here to help with that. But yeah, maybe let's touch upon the programs that are happening in October that Red is launching, and why are they so exciting? So maybe we can talk a little bit about that, and then how people can apply to join.
So for these programs, we are launching 3 out of our 5 main programs. So we're going to be launching the UX designer, digital marketing, and web development. So these 3 programs are going to be 24 weeks duration. Classes are going to be held in the evening, and students will have another 24 weeks of work experience, that is paid work experience. That's going to be full-time in the last 24 weeks. The requirement to get into this program is mainly English. They have to have a high level of English in order to get to enter the programs. For those that don't have enough English yet, we are establishing partnerships with ESL schools in town. So I was just at ILAC today, and looks like we are going to close the deal with them. We already signed a contract with ILSC. We already signed contracts with VGC and Eurocenters. So we are working with, to work with the best schools in Vancouver to get students with a high level of English. And when they reach certain level, depending on the contract we have with the school, we will waive the English requirement. On top of that, the only admissions requirement that we also have is an interview. That it's all students will pass through an interview, and that's going to be in the early stage of the process. So they will, let's say, someone is interested in studying now, they will send a registration form. We will schedule interview, and during this interview, what we try to do is to know who that person is and what their goals are, what they look for in the future in their career in Canada, and what they expect from Red Academy. So we're just trying to match profiles here, like student and school, and after that, we will consider the English requirement. So if after the interview your English is not quite there yet, you could register for one of these schools that I mentioned and level up your English, and then apply for a visa with the conditional letter from Red Academy. And then once that you have the level of English that it's enough to come to Red, you apply for a visa extension and then you stay in Canada.
Very exciting. So what level of English do people need to have to be accepted?
The language that people are more used to is IELTS, academic, that's 6.5, and TOEFL is 84.
Cool. So if you have above that, you already taken the test, then you're definitely eligible to join Red. If you haven't, then schedule your exam soon.
Yeah.
Cool. So how does the program work again? Mm-hmm.
You know the Duolingo test?
No, I haven't heard of it. Maybe you can tell everyone.
Okay, so the Duolingo test, Duolingo is that application that you can practice your English. So they do have an official test, and we have a link, specific link with them that we send to students, and then they can take the test. It costs only $50 American, and you can schedule to do it tomorrow. You do it home on your computer, and it takes around 1 hour to complete the test. So if you do not have IELTS or TOEFL yet, Duolingo is also a really good option to consider.
Wow, I had heard they're moving into the test space, but this is incredible. That's like because my wife did IELTS, and it was such a pain. You have to go to the place, and you have to pay a bunch of money and wait. So incredible. Send us that link. I'll send that out to everybody, because that's really cool. You can take the IELTS. Is it official, like for immigration and everything like this as well?
No, I don't think it's official for immigration. So basically what we do is usually we have the interview before we send the link, just because we want to make sure we know the person before we start asking for English requirement. If you, I can send you the link, like for Duolingo in general, so people can get familiarized with the test. They can even take the test at Duolingo just for their own sake of knowing what level they are. And once that we interview them, we will send a Red Academy Duolingo link, and then they can take the test, and then the results will come directly to us.
Perfect. And I saw Emerson just share englishtest.duolingo.com, which I'm guessing is the link. So thank you for that, Emerson. You're one step ahead of us here. That's really cool, and wow, really cool example of a tech company innovating in
exactly.
a old space, disruption as we speak. Yeah, fantastic, cool. So one thing that I really like about the Red Academy program is that you can work for 20 hours a week during your studies for the first 6 months. So you can have like a part-time job that covers your costs of rent and food and everything like that, and that's really cool. Maybe you could talk about this, and then also how the co-op program works a little bit more, just to really kind of give people an idea how practical this program is.
Right. So this is really cool. But the fact that the classes are held in the evening, students will have during the day to work the 20 hours per week, which is a part-time job. And what's really cool, and that I really wanted to get Lisa's opinion on that, is that once the students start studying at Red, they should get prepared with all the things that you mentioned, like the LinkedIn profile, the personal website, those kind of things, and start looking for a job, a part-time job in the industry while they're studying, right? Yeah. So that will be like a game changer for them. They possibly could be working in the industry during classes, and then when they finish the academic portion, they will simply continue working in that company for full-time position as a co-op.
Very cool. So very cool. So
there are things that students will be learning in the first weeks that could help them finding a job, a part-time job, right?
Yeah, for sure. So specifically for the digital marketing course, the first project they work on is a personal branded website. And so they can use that right away. They can use that if they're leaving the course and looking to gain employment. And that just really allows them to showcase who they are, their skills. It's another place to host their resume and their portfolios. And then if they wanted to host a blog and showcase some of their writing skills and expertise in certain areas.
Very cool.
Yeah. So it helps them to find jobs even currently while they're studying.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wow. That's awesome. I mean, usually when people are studying at college, they're working at a Starbucks or in a restaurant or something like this, not something related to their professional aspirations. So the fact that you guys prepare them right away to start working in the field is really cool. It's super different, I think. Yeah, that's awesome. I just shared a link to the 7 top tech skills that are in demand. So Adam, I hope that answers your question. So there's a lot of skills that there's a lot of different skills, more than just 7 that are in demand. But maybe we can talk a little bit about that. So what are kind of like the not just in one area, but kind of like the top kind of hot skills that you guys are seeing in the market for digital marketing, maybe for design and for programming? And if you want, I can touch on the programming if that's not.
Yeah, maybe you're better for that. I mean, for digital marketing specifically, like the key things that we see people hiring for are SEO and SEM roles. So, being able to.
Yeah, I realized that I didn't do this before. I should have done this earlier.
Now you can see us.
No, yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, guys.
That's okay. So yeah, SEO and SEM are 2 common things that we see in the digital marketing space. So in terms of SEM, that would be like paid advertising. So being able to work with products like Google AdWords, learning display advertising, all the social media platforms advertising. So like Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, all of that kind of stuff that's becoming really popular. Also, learning other Google products like Google Analytics, that's really important for businesses as well. On top of, content marketing and social media, these are all really, really hot topics here that companies are looking for.
Awesome. And I personally am a big fan of the Facebook advertising. So yeah, if anyone has experience with that or is interested in getting some experience with that, I think that you'll go a long way if you have experience with and focuses in this niche. We use it a lot in VanHack, and it helps us a lot. So yeah, very cool. So I'll quickly maybe touch on design and programming because people have asked about this. There's tons of, it's just basically going to say that there's a ton of jobs for designers, like UX design, mobile design, etc. If you can work with Sketch, Photoshop, those kind of skills. And then also for programming, JavaScript frameworks, Angular 2, Node, React is really hot. Redux, really a lot of jobs there. Big data, so like using Scala, Spark, Kafka, those kind of tools, Hadoop, really hot as well. Anything with like Python is really strong. Yes, Michael. Cybersecurity, definitely. Infrastructure, there's tons of infrastructure jobs. Guys, basically, if you're anything related with tech, there's a job for you. If you have the right skills, like, really, if you're good at your job and you have good English. So that's definitely one of the things that Red Academy can help. And if you're not, maybe you work with engineering, like, how can I say, like civil engineering or mechanical engineering, or maybe you work in another field and you want to change your career and get those right tech skills. That's exactly what Red Academy can help with. So quickly before I forget, how can people get in touch and maybe learn more as well as apply? So I put the website for Red Academy here, but maybe I can get the exact link to it as well. Yeah.
Let me get that.
We can put that in the chat. And then also, Raphael, I think maybe your Skype handle, I'll get that. It's just, I don't have it here.
Okay, so this is the Red Academy, the right link for international.
Cool. I'll broadcast that everywhere. So yeah, guys, if you want to join that. Yes, Luis, DevOps is really strong as well. I should have mentioned. There's too many skills to mention them all and have them on top of my head. But yeah, DevOps is super in demand. So especially Docker, I've been seeing it, Puppet, Chef, those kind of skills are really in demand. Nice, Emerson, really cool. We have a React job. Emerson, email me your resume. We have a React job in Waterloo for you. So yeah, Emerson, just like there's a really cool company from oops, I think I said that. Emerson, my email is ilya@vanhack.com. So yeah, just email me right now with your resume. We'll check it out and we'll send it to the company. Cool. So someone here, Epifanio, I'm definitely saying your name wrong. I'm really sorry. Says I need to complete the 48 weeks, do great, and then I'll get hired. So I guess there's no guarantee on getting hired, but basically that's the goal, right, guys?
Yeah.
That's the main goal, right? It's why are you coming to Canada? Why are you studying at Red? Because you want to find a job as quickly as possible. And for that, I think it can be a faster road if you don't have any Canadian experience, like joining Red, doing the projects during the academics plus the work experience. I don't see you managing to get as much work experience in the first year as if you do it this way.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. So just follow the steps that are lined out for you. I think it's the fastest onboarding ramp to a tech career in Canada for sure. What about the wife? I've seen a couple spouse questions here. for the visa, will the spouse get an open work permit if one is studying, the other one can work? Is that how it is with Red?
Well, this is the rule in Canada, right? So if you're an international student studying a full-time program that is longer than 6 months, your spouse is allowed to apply for a work permit. So the only reason I would say you're not going to get it, it's because your profile, immigration had a problem with your profile, not because of school.
Nice. Yeah, of course. There's no guarantees. We can't control what the federal government's going to do. But yes, you are eligible for an open work permit for the spouse. So yeah, and that's usually when that happens. Then yeah, they grant it. But we can't say it's guaranteed. And then yes, it is a full-time program, right?
Yes, it's a full-time program.
Yeah, perfect. Fantastic. That's really great. Cool. Let's get some more questions. So guys, yeah, we're going to use this last 10 minutes more or less to answer questions from everyone. So if anyone has any last minute questions about the program, how it works, Canada in general, the tech market. Louise asked a very important question, which is prices. So how much is the full-time program, and how does that work?
Okay, so the work-study programs are priced at $12,500, and for the first intake, that is going to be October, we will give a $3,000 discount, so it's going to be $9,500.
Cool, and is that paid all up front, or is it split, or how does that work?
So students will pay a deposit once that they're accepted into the program. The deposit is $1,650. And after that, they will have to pay 50% of the balance 30 days before they start classes. And then the outstanding, the rest of the 50%, it's going to be on the first week of classes.
Cool. Awesome. So you're able to, kind of split the payment in two parts in the month, and that kind of helps with everything. But then that way it's all kind of paid for, and then you are able to kind of earn money for your, yourself as you're working and living in Canada. So that sounds great. Cool. And that's for the entire 48 weeks, right? So yeah, 48 weeks.
Yes, for the entire
price is really, really competitive for Canadian colleges, right?
Yeah.
I think most Canadian colleges, or some Canadian colleges, are up to $20,000-$30,000. So this is a fraction of that price, and very specific for tech, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's important to mention that the value of this program is actually a lot higher than the $12,500. I would say, in terms of what students are learning and the opportunity that they're having to work with real Canadian companies during the academics, plus the work experience, everything, I would say this is a $30,000 value program that it's just being offered for less than half the price right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're getting connected to the best companies in town, the skills from the industry. You're able to work to kind of pay off and support yourself. If you have a spouse, your spouse can work too. So pretty much you're able to cover your costs right off the bat. And then when you're finished, you have a great school, great connections, and everything. Especially if you're also a member of VanHack, kind of double the help. I don't know if double is the right word, but more help to get a job as well. So very, very cool. And if people want to add you on Skype, ask you any questions, we've shared your information here. So guys, I know Raphael for a while, and he is very, very, very experienced in terms of helping people come into Canada and study. And so I think he'll definitely be able to answer a lot of questions. So I just shared his Skype there. So if you guys want to add him on Skype, ask him any questions that you might have. Here, put it back. So let's keep going with the questions, guys. Why can't I see the courses offers at redacademy.com? Marina, you can. I'm sure you can.
Just click international.
International, yeah. So just go to the international section. Emerson, can you please share your email Okay, that's not a question.
I already shared my email and Skype account in a conversation. So if you guys just scroll down, you might be able to see it.
Cool, definitely, yeah. Someone was asking for another participant's email on the webinar. Cool. Networking within the Van Hackers, I like it. Cool, guys. So I saw a question here by Marcelo that he asked it a couple times. So I'm sorry we took a while to get to it, Marcelo. But do companies consider someone that might not be 100% fit for a role, but maybe needs to grow into the position, and do they have flexibility on that hire? What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, sure. So if they don't have all of the skills that are necessary for the role, is that the question?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How do they see that maybe potentially someone grows into the role?
Yeah, and I think I touched on this earlier. It's not just about your skills. It's also about being a fit for the company. So I think the way to kind of be able to leverage that is to be able to say, I'm just starting my career. I'm just building these skills. I have a real interest. I think if you show like you have an interest and you have like a general idea of the path you want to take, companies are really willing to train you and to allow you to grow. Because like Raph was saying earlier, it's a huge investment for a company to take on a candidate, to go through the recruitment process, to train somebody. They want to make sure that they have people who are committed and who want to be here long term. So showing that you're a fit for the business, a cultural fit, is really important. So, going into those interviews, being prepared, really understanding who the company is and how your skills and your personality fits is really important. And a great way to do that is to try and connect with people who work at that company and go for, a coffee or an informational interview and really get a feel for what a day in the life is like working there. Gain as many insights as you can and see if it's a fit, and then kind of pitch yourself as, not only do I have the skills and I'm willing to build on these skills, but I'm also, would work really well in this organization.
Yeah. I think that really speaks to the point that being there in person makes a huge difference as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one thing we've touched on is obviously there's additional support from our team here at Red, but just the network itself, being in an environment where you're learning with this many people, not just internationals, but, local Canadian students as well, you're just opening up your network to meet so many people. And the cool thing about Red is it's a very much like a family vibe. It's very much, everybody knows each other. Everybody is supportive of each other. People come with all different backgrounds. So you never really know, somebody that you meet in another course may have an opportunity for you at a business they're working at or at an old business they used to work at. So it's a really good opportunity for people to network just being in the school.
Yeah, just to touch a little bit on what Lisa just said about the students and being a family school. Like our students themselves decided to have a lunch and learn today activity. So students from all different programs, they sat down in a lunch area and in a common area here, and they were talking about their skills and their expertise to the other students, and they were sharing knowledge and information. That was super cool to see.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. Just one more thing to add. Another really cool thing we do here is we host a lot of events. So not just like school-specific events, but we bring in people from the industry, bring in different thought leaders. And so that's another great opportunity to network and meet people in the industry. Because there's always people in the school who are from the industry or looking to hire within the industry. So there's just tons of opportunity to meet people here.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Speaking of in the school, is it possible to get a mini tour or like a little bit to see what it looks like, the classrooms? I think last time we did that and it was really exciting. Is that okay? Could you kind of show us a little bit about what it looks like?
Yeah, I can. I'm not sure if you still have some time to go on, or I can.
I just realized we're over time. Yeah.
No, because maybe we can see if Lisa has anything else to share, and then after that I can give it a quick tour about in school. How does that sound?
Cool, awesome. Yeah, no, fantastic. And I sorry, I lost track. We are a couple of minutes over, and yeah. So Lisa, maybe some final thoughts on maybe why you joined Red, how your experience has been, and what you wish for other people to as well.
Yeah, for sure. So I worked in the industry for 5-6 years in digital marketing, and I was building out teams, and nobody had this particular skill set. And so when I saw Red pop up about 2 years ago, I got really excited at the idea that there was a school that was training for these particular skills. So I started part-time teaching here, just kind of as like a side passion project. And I fell in love with the school and the people that work here, and the students. And I started full-time teaching, and I've been full-time teaching here for a year and a half. And it's such a unique place to be. You meet so many interesting people from all different backgrounds. And I just think there's such an opportunity to come and learn here from really awesome people who've worked in the industry, who have a ton of experience, huge networks. And you get to work with some really cool businesses while you're here. And you know, our biggest success, or how we measure success, is students successfully completing a course and then getting a job. So you know, the thing that makes me the happiest is seeing students get placed in these amazing companies, and then they come back and they come and they talk about their experiences to the new students, and they give back. So that whole community vibe, that whole family vibe. It's a really special place to be. So I consider myself lucky.
Definitely. I really agree with that. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why we have such a good relationship between Red and VanHack is because we're all about the community as well. And I know the high level that you guys have in terms of the skills that you have as instructors and that you teach to your students. So yeah, no, I hope we can meet one day in person at Red, Lisa.
Yeah, for sure. Look forward to it.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time, and yeah, hopefully someone or many people here that are on the webinar can also be there in Vancouver and meet you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much.
Cool.
Thanks, Lisa.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers. Enjoy the day.
Yeah. So yeah, I can move on here. Give it a little bit of a tour in the school for you guys. I saw that the digital marketing students just left the classroom. Okay, so this is where I was. I was in the, Lisa and I, we were here in this meeting room. This is our common area. Okay, so we have a couple students that are left in the building yet. They're just finishing their classes. We have some of them relieving their stress playing ping pong. There is a kitchen here as well. Maybe you guys can see a little bit better from this angle as well.
Really cool.
Okay. Yeah, this is a common area. So mostly students, after their classes, they join in groups here, and then they work on their projects. Let me show you the classrooms now. Okay, this is the teachers, instructors room here. We have Haiti, we have Lisa back there already. This is the DM. Instructors room. This is the application development room. As I said, like students just left, most of them. We have still a last one here, the web dev room. And this is the digital marketing classroom. Students just left. So yeah, sometimes they sit down in the bean bags here. There's no really rules on how you should attend classes, but as long as you're there. I'm going to take you guys downstairs now. Okay, so this is a reception in the second floor.
Nice.
Here you can see that we have this shoes off policy. A lot of students, including me, like we're just wearing socks. Okay, so here is the design classroom, and we have some people waving, saying hello. This is a common area. People relax. Sometimes they do their projects here as well. Here is the UX classroom. Hey, Kevin. Yeah. We have another meeting room here. And this is another kitchen. Hello. And this is a very important part of the school as well, the beer tab for Social Fridays.
Awesome.
Yeah. These are the current students. We did this panel.
Wow. It's a lot of students.
Yeah, we take a photo of all the students on the first day of classes, and then we do that panel on the wall with the photos.
Nice. That's very cool. I remember when you guys first started, it was just the red. Now you have the whole thing around it. That's awesome.
Sorry, you cut off, Lily?
No, I was just saying that I remember, and when you first started the school, when I first went there, you had just the red in the pictures, and then now you have this whole big border around. There's many more students. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then hopefully
means that you're
go to do
that. Yeah, for sure. Awesome. That was a really great tool, Raphael. I think it shows like the vibe. I love the socks policy or the no shoes policy. That's really cool. I've been there personally myself many times in the school, guys, and it's a really nice vibe, really nice community. Cool, Raphael. I know we're a little. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just going to say that it's interesting that we have the same environment here as mostly the tech companies will have in town. Which is interesting about that. There are reasons why the company's environment are like this, just because the workload is very high and it's a lot of pressure during work. So the environment helps people to relieve their tension. And the same thing happens at Red Academy. Like we have very stressful classes with the projects and all that. It's like we're mimicking the job like the students will probably have in the future during the classes. So the environment also helps them to relieve that, like de-stress.
Nice. That's awesome. I think that makes a lot of sense. So you kind of are in that mindset already, the culture, everything, and it's a really easy transition to an actual tech company.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
That's the idea, to make that transition as quickly as possible.
Cool. Well, I know we're over time, and by the way, guys, everyone who's here with us still, thanks so much for hanging out with us and sticking around. I hope you have found this super useful and it helps you get one step closer or many steps closer to your goal of getting hired in Canada. But maybe we could take a couple more questions, and I think we should just let Raphael get back to work because we are over time. But I think one good question that Alvaro just asked is about how do you support yourself financially while you're studying, because this is of course a very big part of it. So as an expert in studying in Canada, could you give some tips as how you can really do well to support yourself and your family?
Yeah, so this is actually a great question. So first of all, do your financial planning very well before you come to Canada to make sure you have some cash flow. That will allow you to take some time to look for a job after you start studying. And why I'm saying that you should allow yourself to take some time to look for a job is that if you're desperate to find a job, you are more likely to get the first thing that happens to you. So that could possibly be a coffee shop or a restaurant or something, that it's going to help you pay your bills, but it's not going to help you build up a future in Canada. So if you come to Canada with a budget plan for 1 or 2 months without anything, and give that time to yourself to prepare and look for job, network, and those kind of things, the chances that you might land a job that it's slightly better, it's higher. And with that, like, you're not only going to be able to support yourself during your studies, but also when you get to your co-op portion of studies, you might already be employed. And the transition will be from part-time to full-time, which means you're going to make more money. And another factor that I think is interesting is that the price of the program is very reasonable. So you are already saving money if you were considering going to a public school, and now you're considering RED, you are already saving money. So if you put that in your budget as money that you have to support yourself in Canada, that is a big difference.
Nice, fantastic. I think that makes a lot of sense, and it's all about planning, being prepared, understanding what you can do, and then hustling, working really hard to be able to money. What do you think would be enough money? Actually, that's Alvaro's next question here. To maintain yourself, you think one can get a job?
I'm gonna be very generic here, okay? Because it's hard to tell for sure how much one can spend in Canada. But if you're single, you can easily pay your fixed costs with $1,000 a month, which you can make 1,000 working part time. I don't see any problems making $1,000 working part time, especially if you work in an industry. You're gonna be making a little bit more than that, I would say. If you're a couple, then you have a spouse to help you pay the bills with the open work permit, which is great. And then if you have kids, your costs are gonna jump a little bit, just because like kids cost a little bit more. So I would say for a family of 3, the fixed costs are going to be around $3,000 a month, but you would have one person working part-time and one person working full-time. So that should be enough to make $3,000 at least.
Nice, fantastic. Yeah. I think if you're smart, if you shop the grocery store, don't eat at restaurants all the time, this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Alvaro said it's amazingly cheap. Yeah, it all depends on your lifestyle, how you live. Yeah. But yeah, I think very, very kind of generic, high level stuff. Awesome, cool. Let's wrap it up here. We're 15 minutes over time. I guess one more time, people can get in touch with you, Raphael, on Skype, right? Just Raphael Red Academy. Yeah. So we have it there. So if you guys have any questions, Raphael is always available on Skype. He can answer your question. He'll kind of yes, you can have a part-time job. Also, Emerson, thanks for sending that resume. I'll check it out. Jefferson, thank you as well. Everyone who was on the webinar, guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Hopefully, like I said, this really helped you. Guys, get in touch with Raphael. Seriously, he has like 10 years experience in the business of helping people come to Canada and study and get hired in Canada, making transition to immigrate. So I can't think of anyone better to talk to about this. And he's open to answering any questions on Skype, on email, and definitely I would say like there's no better place for you to work and study than Red Academy to get a job. And this will be recorded and on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching as well. So Raphael, thank you so much for spending your time here with us. And
thank you, Ilya. Thank you, everybody that was up to now in the webinar. I really appreciate you guys' time and Ilya for the opportunity. And like coming to study at RED will help you a lot. studying at Red and getting Ilya to help you find a job after that, it's just going to be like amazing. This is a gold opportunity for who is planning to come to Canada. So yeah, I think this is it's a great opportunity for all of international students.
Definitely. Awesome, guys. We'll see you in the next webinar and see you in Vancouver. Cheers.
Yeah. Bye. See you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.